Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the 2022 Junior Giants. My name is Nate Birnbaum. I'll be your commissioner this summer. Um, and super, super excited to get started again this summer. This is my first time being fully in charge of everything. I'm taking the reins from the famous Gerald Reeder, who's on the call today helping out. Gerald ran this smoothly for many, many years and has been one of the most well-respected baseball coaches in San Francisco for decades, and super happy to have his support. And we're going to run through all the basics that you need to know for the next couple months. And if you have any questions that don't get answered throughout the presentation, if you could go ahead and put them in the chat. We have somebody monitoring the chat, and we'll answer everything that we can. And if anything comes up that we can't answer, we'll find out and we'll let everybody know via email afterwards. So, goal of the meeting: learn the basics of the program and how it works, understand what's needed from you as parent and guardian, and learn where to find more information. These are the three key goals. So what is the Junior Giants? It is, of course, free. We don't ask for any fees or any fundraising. It's non-competitive, so we're not keeping score. There's no standings. There's no playoffs. It's co-ed, so the baseball portion, boys and girls will play together. For our softball division, which is relatively new. Softball division is girls only. Last year we started with 2 teams. This year we have 8 teams, which I'm very proud of, and we'll hopefully grow that in the years to come. And what makes the Junior Giants unique is that we introduce a character development element to it. So each week there's a different word of the week, focusing on different things like health, education, bullying prevention, integrity, confidence, all that sort of thing. So in addition to learning how to play baseball, we're going to let all the kids know through the conversations we have with the volunteers how important these different character development ideas are. Big picture, the Junior Giants is a program of the Giants Community Fund, and the league is hosted by the San Francisco Recreation Parks Department. One of the things that we'll talk about a lot throughout the year is, for a young kid learning how to play baseball, one of the best things that they can do is be a fan of their home team. And nobody in this league is old enough to remember what it felt like in 2010 and 2012 and 2014. But for those of you on this call who are Giants fans, who were in the city when that was going on, that kind of joy is really only something that baseball can bring. It's why this is America's pastime. It's why it's so beloved and has been for well over 100 years. And when you become a fan of your local team early on, one, it's a great joy between you and your family and your friends, but it really helps in terms of the development of your ability to play baseball. So that's a key part of this. So we have 6 different divisions within our league. This call is just for the T-ball group, so 5 to 6 years old. This is the hierarchy of how it works. I'm the commissioner. We have 3 ambassadors that the Giants assign to us each year. And in years past, the people that they've assigned have been amazing. No different this year. I'll introduce you to them in a second. And then, of course, everything that we do, nothing that we do would be possible without the support of all the volunteers. Last year, we ended up with over 200 volunteers. I think we're at 150 this year. So again, my name is Nate Birnbaum. I've been with the Rec and Park Department for about 8 years. I've been doing this kind of work all my life and have been around baseball. I'm 44 years old, so baseball's been a part of my life for 40 straight springs. I grew up in Chicago. I'm actually a Cubs fan. Don't hold that against me. But have been in the Bay Area for 22 years and just, obviously love living out here, but it brings me great joy to do this kind of work, especially after what we've all been through for these last 2 or 3 years to get almost 1,200 kids together who haven't paid a thing to play this game. It really is something that I'm incredibly proud of. I'm also super pleased to introduce Rachelle Henley, one of my colleagues with Rec and Park. She's going to be overseeing all of the softball teams. Rachelle, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for getting on this call. Go Giants. I'm a Bay Area kid, born in San Francisco, raised in South San Francisco, played baseball as a young child, and I actually played high school softball in high school and college, and then went back to baseball and had the pleasure of playing professional baseball. So I'm all about putting youth in the right positions and starting them young and giving them many opportunities. And Junior Giants is one of beautiful opportunity for young boys and girls to participate. So I'm here to help out as much as possible with the softball. You'll see me out on Saturdays in a lot of your softball practices. And I'm here to support you and the coaches, and looking forward to seeing all the volunteer coaches and team parents all at our coaches on-site meeting next Thursday for a little coaches training.
Awesome.
And all the children out there too. I can't wait.
Awesome. Thank you, Rachelle. And then I'd like to introduce our ambassadors one by one. You guys will see them out and about at practices and on Saturdays. So Bella Lupino.
Hi everyone, I'm Bella. I'm from San Francisco as well. Although I'm not a baseball player. I was actually a soccer player, but I'm super excited for the season to start. And I know Junior Giants is a great program, and I hope you're all as excited as I am. And I don't think Jesse is here, but I'll pass it to Julia.
Okay.
Hi everyone, I'm Julia. I was also born and raised in San Francisco. I'm going to be a senior in college this coming year at San Diego State, but I'm excited to be back in the city this summer to work with all of you guys and all your kids.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. And one of the things, just as an FYI, they're helping us sort all of the uniforms and get them ready for everybody. In years past, I think last year we had 700, 800 kids total. And it was maybe 900 before the pandemic. And we just completely obliterated any projections that we had this year, and we're going to get close to 1,200. So we had to order a whole bunch more equipment and a whole bunch more uniforms that'll get here before the games start. But we'll ask for your patience in getting everything together. But as soon as everything comes, we'll let everybody know. Okay, so really anything that comes up, the best thing that you can do is send the email to me, sfrpd.jrgiants@sfgov.org. The email with your invitation to join us today. That's the best and quickest way to get an answer to whatever you need. And if I need to pass that along to an ambassador or to a volunteer, I can, but that's your first line of defense. So your coach or your team parent, they can answer questions about particulars related to the practices, to the games, and to the WOW Pack items. And we're going to make sure that they have all that information. The ambassadors are going to have all the information you need about uniforms, getting you the equipment, getting the volunteers the equipment bags. They're going to be doing surveys to the volunteers and to the kids later on in the season. And we're going to be facilitating, distributing Giants tickets at different junctions throughout the season. And in general, in the past, when the Giants are really, really good and selling out the games, it's kind of tough to come by the tickets. But because of the pandemic and because of just the nature of professional sports these days, they're not selling out. So we're going to have more access for tickets. So just keep an eye out for different emails for that. And then, come to me with questions about volunteers, rosters, and schedules. Okay, so the schedule, each team will have one practice and one game per week. Games will be on Saturdays. The first games will be on June 18th. The last games will be on August 6th. We won't have any games on July 2nd. Practices will be on weekday evenings. The first practices will be on June 13th. One of the key questions that I've gotten a lot of in the last week or two is people seem to have forgotten which team they're on. So when you registered, you literally chose the week, the location, the day, and the time of your practice. And immediately after you registered, you would have gotten an automatic email from League Apps that listed your choice. But if you can't find that, you don't remember what it is, just shoot me a quick email and I can find it pretty quickly. Unfortunately, fortunately, most of the teams are full. We can't transfer you on to any team that is full. If there are a handful of teams that have some room, I'm happy to move you over. If anybody drops out and space becomes available, we can move people around. After the first 3 or 4 weeks, though, we're going to limit people's ability to transfer teams, right? So once the season starts, that's your team, and we'll ask you to kind of stick with your team. So these are the words of the week that'll be incorporated into the season. And just like we're going to ask you to, for the kids to just have the hour-long practice and the hour-long game. Some of the kids are going to do that, but they're also going to want to play catch at home and play catch with their neighbors and their friends and their family members and watch the Giants. This stuff is obviously more important, and we want you guys to kind of continue these conversations with them at home and not just have it be that 15 minutes at practice or the 15 minutes at games. So we'll talk about health. We'll talk about the importance of striking out bullying, of education, why it's important to take school seriously, what it means to be confident on the baseball field and everywhere else, what teamwork means, and why learning about teamwork as a 5- and 6-year-old on a team really does translate into just about everything else that they'll experience as they get older. And even with me as the commissioner of this league, the teamwork between the people on this call and other people within my department, it's absolutely crucial. Nobody can do anything like this on their own. Excuse me. And then leadership, of course. So what does it mean to be a leader on a team, right? It doesn't have to be there can't be just one leader on a baseball team. We need a bunch of leaders. So the Giants will provide some cool talking points with the help of some of the players throughout the season that you'll get through your app. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But this is just a really, really cool part, integral part of what makes the Junior Giants special. So what is provided? Players will receive the uniform, a double-sided orange and black shirt, gray pants, Giants hat. If your child doesn't have a glove or has outgrown theirs, we've got plenty. So you just need to let your coach know. All of them are going to be at Crocker Amazon. You're not required to buy any equipment to play. If you want to get your child their own glove, great. We fully support that. From a cleanliness standpoint, if you want to buy your child her own helmet to have for the next handful of years, fantastic. If you want to get them cleats can be super, super helpful. They're really not necessary at the T-ball level. And a protective cup for kids that want to play catcher, that's pretty important. But at the T-ball level, nobody's playing catcher. Nobody's hitting the ball that hard, not that important. So for the 5 to 6 year olds, you're really not required to buy anything. One of the great things about having these reversible jerseys, in years past, each team had a different color. And then in the last couple of years, we just had black and gray and white. But when we have the reversible, that means that if, let's say that we have a team that has 18 kids and all 18 kids show up, and they're set to play another team that is struggling with numbers that week, and only 4 of their kids show up. So instead of playing 18 on 4, we're going to take 22 kids, split them up, and play 11 on 11. One team is going to be black, one team is going to be orange. Because the score doesn't matter, and because we want to just get as much baseball in as possible, 11 on 11 is going to be a lot more fun than 18 on 4. Furthermore, if you have even fewer than that, later on in the season, let's say you get, in that early July, the week after July 2nd, July 9th, maybe there's a bunch of families that are on vacation, and you end up with just 14 kids total. 7-on-7 T-ball game is so much fun. The kids get more bats, they're going to have more defensive chances. So we're going to instruct the volunteers to get the kids to play. The game starts at 9:30. 9:30 rolls around, however many kids are there, let's play. And if kids show up late, you can just kind of put them in as they get there. Incentives. So the players will be able to earn the following Giants themed prizes during the season. We'll have water bottles, weekly baseball cards, backpacks, and how they earn them is basically just being present and participating in the discussion around the word of the week. So the season roadmap. We're going to provide these to the volunteers. The volunteers will provide these to the kids the first week or two. And excuse me. And what this is, one of the other key parts of the Junior Giants is that we're going to encourage the kids to be actively reading throughout the season and keeping track of what they read and how often they read. And there's going to be prizes for the teams that complete, where every kid on the team completes 720 minutes of reading throughout the summer. So you'll all get this the first week. And obviously, hopefully you're already doing this with your kids, but just a little added incentive from the Giants to read. So the Junior Giants Festival, if your player's entire team, minors or older, so this is this isn't for the T-ball. I'll find out about that though. Well, ambassadors, if this is available for the T-ball group too. And I'll let everybody know. And if not, then this is an incentive for you to join us for next year. Just to look ahead, as your kids get older, players going into 8th grade, you can apply for the Harmon and Sue Burns Scholarship. 10 recipients are selected each season. Scholars receive a $5,000 scholarship, custom jersey, and support. special events throughout high school. Scholarship is available on the Junior Giants app. It's due July 17th. This has been going on for many, many, many years, and hopefully this is something that you can take us up on if and when you have children of that age joining us. Also, the Willie Mack Award is something that we'll award every year, one player and one volunteer per league. That represents the 4 bases of character development, confidence, integrity, education, and confidence, integrity, education, and Gerald, what's the 4th one?
Is it leadership?
And leadership. Thank you, Rachelle. And they'll be honored at Oracle Park and receive a personalized wooden bat. Giants tickets, we discussed this earlier. You'll have the opportunity to earn tickets to Giants game through taking an end of season survey. Tickets are not guaranteed and are subject to availability, and more information to come. Like I said before, because they're not selling out, that's really what subject to availability means. So if your child is participating, you're going to have opportunities to go see the Giants play. Your players age 8 and older could be interviewed about their Junior Giants experience by the ambassadors at the end of the season. No tickets associated with that. So hopefully all of you by now have figured out how to get the Junior Giants app on your phone. In the coming weeks, you'll be able to find your roster and schedule and communicate with your team. Unfortunately, we actually received word last night that they're not going to be ready to have the ability for you to communicate with your team on the app probably until like the middle part to the end of June. So it's not going to be ready before the season begins, but we'll keep you guys posted on when that's going to be ready. But if you look through the app, there's a lot of really, really cool stuff in there, especially for the coaches. So you log in with the same MLB username and password you used to register. Let's get to your expectations. Emails used frequently. Please check your email at least once a day. We're going to actually try to email you as infrequently, like the mass emails, infrequently as possible. Just when there's something specific that we need to let you know. Hopefully at this point, none of what we're sending is going to your spam. But as a general practice, please be sure to check your spam too. And I'll check my spam too. Sometimes what you guys send to me comes to my spam. We ask that you come to every practice and game so your child can get the most out of the experience. Do your best to arrive on time and recognize that parking is going to be a little bit challenging at some of the locations. Let your coach or team parent know as far in advance as possible if you're going to miss. And when you're on the field, be present off your phone and watching the game, cheering everybody on. All that said, this is the middle of the summer. Birthday parties come up. There's vacations that come up. There's family visiting. There's going to be times where you have to miss, and that's okay. The reason why we have 18 kids on each team is because we expect a handful of people that are going to have to miss. So, we want you to be at everything, but if you need to miss a day or two here and there, that certainly doesn't preclude you from participating. So volunteers, we don't ask for any financial support, but we do need your time. You don't need any experience. We'll provide the practice plans and all the training. There are roles for everybody, and the head coach, the assistant coach, the team parent. So far, we've got about 100, somewhere between 140 and 150 people that have signed up. they're going to have a separate Zoom. They're going to have a separate Zoom with us on Monday night and an in-person training with us on Thursday night. It kind of happens every year. Well, we probably have hundreds of people who are willing and able to do it. They're going to be at the practices and games anyway, but they're kind of holding back and waiting for other people to step up. If you look at the key spreadsheet that lists all the teams and how many volunteers we have for each team, if your child's team, only has one or two or has zero, please consider registering. And to register, you just go to the same place where you register your child. It's gojuniorgiants.org, select the SFREC and Park League. And when you go into that registration, you'll see the registration that you use to sign up your child. Scroll all the way down, select volunteer coach registration, follow the steps from there. It'll trigger an automatic email from the Junior Giants so you can go through the background check. I'll send you an email that kind of defines your roles and invites you to the trainings next week. And we'll provide everything that you need to help the kids have a fantastic time. And I think that one of the key things for a T-ball team especially, and the main thing that we're going to discuss with the volunteers next week and throughout the season, is that safety is really the most important thing. We can't have kids getting hit with a bat. We can't have kind of like an unorganized situation where balls are being thrown haphazardly where somebody could get hit. And having extra parent eyes and hands on the field that have gone through the background check really is the key to making sure that everybody's safe. You can't have just one volunteer out there for 18 kids that are playing for the first time. There are a handful of people that can do it, people that, where baseball's in their blood and they've been coaching for years and years and years, but those people are very few and far between. Having 2 or 3, or really 4, 5, 6 different parents on the field is what's necessary. We ask that you embrace the Junior Giants philosophy, don't keep score. If you see any issues, we hope that you can come to us and help rather than complain. Though if there's something that you need to complain about, for sure, come and talk to me. Follow the season roadmap and talk about the word of the week at home. Encourage your child to participate. Code of ethics for the parents. Again, cheer for both teams. Obviously, don't use inappropriate language. Don't demean the coaches or players. Obviously, no tobacco, cannabis, or alcohol in the fields. I'm sure this is obvious to everybody. As far as weather, we may face weather that affects our ability to play. From a rain standpoint, our decision to cancel rests solely on the city's decision of whether or not to close that particular field. So there's a website on sfrecpark.org. If it's raining, once we see that a field is closed, we'll let everybody know via email that the practice or the games are canceled. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. I really hope that we don't have that smoke issue we had a couple of years back. But if we do need to cancel, we'll let everybody know via email. As far as COVID is concerned, and I've been tested, I just have a cough that I've had a difficult time shaking. If your child or anyone in your family tests positive for COVID, please let one of your volunteers know, let us know, and we can kind of guide your team through what's necessary, whether or not you need to cancel, who you need to notify, et cetera, et cetera. if you're not feeling well, whether you've tested positive or not, don't come. Obviously, just don't come. And when possible, at the games, at the practices, practice social distancing, wash your hands. Right now, it is not mandated to wear a mask. If you feel more comfortable wearing a mask, wear a mask. As a general rule for me, if I'm around a bunch of people, I've got a little baby at home, I'll be wearing a mask if you meet me. Going forward, how will I know which team we're on, who our coaches, our schedule, etc.? So I'll let you know how to find your team again. If you can't find it, let me know. And we are going to let all of the volunteers know their rosters, their contact information, and the volunteers on your team will reach out to you prior to the start of the season. And then a couple weeks from now, maybe 2 to 3 weeks from now, the Junior Giants app will enable you guys to kind of communicate amongst each other. So until the app is set up for that, it's going to be, old school meeting at the fields for your practices and for your games, and just straight email from your volunteers. As far as the actual game schedule, a couple weeks back, a little bit, maybe like 10 days ago, we sent you the preliminary schedule. That's going to be final later today. So I'll basically change the word preliminary on it and mark it final. And you guys can put that into your calendars and plan around those times. I did get a couple emails from people saying that they were confused. It looked like their team was playing multiple times in a day. If you're looking at the schedule on your phone, you got to turn your phone sideways to be able to see all the information. Some of the teams kind of have all the same information, but just have a different time or a different field. So just be careful not to look at it with your phone standing up. Okay. And the volunteer training. So everybody who's registered for to be a volunteer, and if you do, hopefully today, I'll send you the link to join us next Monday via Zoom and in person on the 9th. Again, practices start the week of the 13th, games start the 18th, season ends Saturday, August 6th. Next steps, if you haven't already, download the Junior Giants app, complete the Junior Giants University Parents 101, sign up to volunteer. I think that these are the main Junior Giants social media. We're going to have our own too. We'll send those out to everybody. And let's see, we learned the basics of how it works. Hopefully you guys understand what's needed from you, and learn where to find more information. And I think that, this is 8 weeks of fun baseball. And, one of the cool things is on June 18th, we're going to have literally hundreds and hundreds of little kids playing in their very first baseball game. And they're not going to have any idea what's going on, but it's amazing to see how quickly they're going to learn, which way to run and what to do when the ball comes to them, and what it feels like to have a big hit for your teammates. And that's a pretty special thing. And I think that if you embrace it and kind of hold your child's hand through the experience, I hope that it turns into a lifelong love of this game that I certainly love. And with that, Julia, what are some of the key questions that have come in that I didn't cover?
Um, the first one was, yes, this recording is going to be sent to everyone after, so you guys can watch it after. And then they also requested that we send the presentation as well, so they can review that, and we can definitely do that. Team parents don't need to come to the coaches training next week, just the coaches. People asked if parents get any swag. Unfortunately, you don't unless you're a coach. So if you want a Junior Giants t-shirt, please volunteer as a coach. You'll get a free t-shirt and a Cinch Shack backpack. Is there a discount on Giants tickets? Like Nate said, if you fill out the survey this season, there's a possibility that you will get free tickets to see a Giants game with your kid.
There's also going to be, there'll be times when the Giants send me an email kind of, 4 or 5 days before a game, and they'll say, hey, Nate, we've got, extra tickets. How many do you need? And I could send them, all right, well, I need 100 tickets. Or I could say I need 300 tickets. And in a sense, I'm requesting 100 or 200 or 300 tickets. And they could accept it or deny it. They could say, well, we don't have that much, but we'll send you 50. But pretty much whatever I request, they'll send. And if they send me 300 tickets, I'll send a note out to all the volunteers and say, hey, how many tickets would you like? And keep a little spreadsheet. And basically, as soon as those 300 tickets are up, email everybody those free tickets. And that might happen, 4 or 5 times throughout the summer. It might happen, a few weeks after the season begins too. So just keep your eye out for kind of last minute opportunities for tickets. And we won't make them just available to the volunteers, but the volunteers are going to get first cracks at them for sure. Next.
Also, a lot of people have been asking about if there's no volunteers for their team, if the team might be canceled. There is a possibility if we don't have enough volunteers that your team might not be able to participate. So please sign up if you're interested. Personally, like my parents coached me all growing up, and it was like one of the best experiences and like bonding moments with them. So please sign up if you're interested.
See,
we
I
need
think
one head coach,
hold on.
and then
Julia, hang on one second. Thank you for that. The answer is it just has never come up yet. We've in all the years we've been doing this, we've never had to actually cancel a team because people always step up. Either the team would get canceled or we would end up having the team just not have practices. They would just come to the games on Saturdays. And then we would have staff on site help get the kids into the games. But we just don't have the capacity to go out and provide coaches for any of the teams. Next, Julia.
Next was about vacations, or like, do they need to notify if they can't attend a practice or game?
That would be great. Yeah, if you can notify your team as far in advance as possible, that would be great.
Oh, where do we find the contact info for our team's coaches?
It's going to be on the Junior Giants app. Don't have that ready quite yet. We'll let everybody know as soon as we know. We're going to provide the roster information to the volunteers, and the volunteers will get in touch with the parents prior to the season.
Someone asked if we could please send the roadmap. It's going to be on the PowerPoint that we send out, but I think it's also in the WOW pack that the kids get in the beginning.
Everybody will get that the first week.
How do we know what field to meet at for the first practice?
So that it's literally in your team name, list the field and the day and the time. And I'll send an email to everybody this coming week, just with kind of links to directions to each field. You can Google it. I think that there's only like 7 or 8 different options throughout the week, but I'm sure that there's some parents that aren't, necessarily familiar with all the different fields. So we'll just, to make sure everybody knows exactly how to get to St. Mary's and Crocker and Silver Terrace and Moscone and Kimball, we'll send you links to their addresses.
And how will they know which field for the first game? Or
It's on
which
the
diamond
schedule.
at Crocker? At Crocker, though.
That's on the schedule. So there's
Okay.
there's 8 different fields at Crocker. The T-ball teams are all going to be on field 6, 7, and 8. So 6, 7, and 8, we're going to literally set up portable backstops, like pretty huge portable backstops. And the T-ball fields will be set just over the left field fence of the main baseball diamond at Crocker Amazon. So if you're driving towards Crocker Amazon on Geneva Avenue, which is the main road there, you'll turn into Moscow Street, go all the way down Moscow Street. You'll see the baseball stadium and the clubhouse on your right. Go down a little bit further, you'll see the firehouse on your left. Across from the firehouse is the entrance to the parking lot. Go into the parking lot. At the base of the parking lot, you're going to see a huge tent with 8 tables on it, and we're going to have baseballs and mitts and extra uniforms for kids that haven't had their uniforms yet. Our entire staff is going to be there. The volunteers will check into that tent each week to pick up their whatever they need for that week, the different WOW prizes, extra mitts that they need, extra balls that they need. From the tent, you would turn left, and field 6, 7, and 8 is a little bit less than 100 yards to the left from that tent. If you get lost, just go to the tent and we'll direct you, but it should be pretty easy to find. And then there'll be, with 6, 7, and 8, we'll actually have little numbers on the backstop, so you'll be able to see which one.
Okay, I know the junior giant staff is down right now, but in the future, can players provide their availability / RSVP through the app this year?
I'll find out. I'll let you know.
Is it allowed for team parents to share the team roster contact info, or do they need permission?
To share it with who?
It does not say.
With the rest of the roster, like if the team parent can reach out to the other parents on the team,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can't share that information with anybody outside of your team.
Will the roster change based on availability?
No. So we have 18 kids on the team. We expect there to be times when families have to miss, and that's okay. But if we have, let's say we have 18 on a team and one of the kids doesn't show up the first week or the second week, and we call an email and can't get a hold of anybody, and there's no response, they don't come the third week, they don't come the first 3 weeks, and we have no reason why, we'll drop them out. And if there's anybody that wants to get into that location, or if there's a new person that wants to sign up, we'll add them in.
Is there one practice before the first game next week or next 2 weeks?
So the practices start the week of June 13th. The games start Saturday, June 18th.
How do we know if our team has enough volunteers and coaches?
So see if I can find it.
I just had a quick one. Can there be more than one coach? For example, Upper Noe Valley, they're missing a coach for our team. I don't mind doing that, but that first week we won't be available the week of the 13th. And then a quick follow-up, is the practice only that day scheduled, right? So there's only one day and then the Saturday.
That's
Thanks.
correct. That's correct. Same thing with the volunteers. We don't, because it's the summer, we don't expect all the volunteers to be able to commit to every practice and game, although we would love to have that happen. That's another reason why it's so much better to have multiple volunteers. So this is up to date as of last night. I haven't checked to see if anybody registered this morning. If you haven't seen this spreadsheet, there was a link to it on the registration page, and we've emailed it out to everybody a couple times. The red teams are all full. The green teams have a little bit of room left, and you can see based on your team how many volunteers have signed up so far. So for the 5 to 6 year olds, Bayview team, it's got a little bit of room. They've got a coach and an assistant coach. Great to get a team parent in. It would be great to get another coach or two. But if you get one team parent, that team's good. Crocker is on D4, Wednesday, 5 o'clock. Right now, just one assistant coach. So we'll probably talk to that assistant coach and kind of see if he can step up to be the head coach. And we'll recruit more parents from that team when he meets them or she meets them for that first practice. And all of those parents who are going to be there every week anyway, this person is going to help us recruit those other people to step up. This one, Tuesday, so if you're on D4 Tuesday, 5 o'clock, right now we've got nobody. Same thing for hers, Monday, 5 o'clock. Nobody. So those are the only 2 teams in the entire division that have nobody. I'm super confident that that's going to change, hopefully in the next few hours. If it doesn't, for whatever reason, and that would be the first time in the history of us doing it, that would be the case, we'll follow up with the parents and figure out what we're going to do next. I think the worst case scenario, like I said, is that these teams, if they don't have a volunteer, would just not practice on Monday at 5 or at Tuesday at 5. And then we would encourage the kids on these teams to actually come to the games. And we have a bunch of extra staff on site for the games and extra coaches on their opponents' teams to help the kids play. But I hope that it doesn't come to that. So I'll send this link out again to everybody, but you should all have access to it. These 2 teams, Potrero Hill and Silver Terrace, got a bunch of team parents, but need some coaches. Moscone, Thursday, 4:30, we need somebody to step up. This one, Upper Noe, Thursday, 4:30, and that's 3 assistant coaches. So hopefully those 3 can figure out how to be co-head coaches and get the season started.
Nate, could you touch on, someone asked, what are the duties for each position, just in case they're interested in volunteering?
Yeah, so
And also the importance of a background check and like why we require them to get one.
yeah. So the roles, the team parents role is to kind of help to make sure all the parents know where and when to be each week. And they're going to help make sure that everybody kind of stays on top of the word of the week that week. They'll manage the reading part of it, give the kids their roadmaps. The coaches will be more focused on the actual baseball part of it and leading the actual loud talks at practices and games. The head coach would be responsible for, letting the kids know where they need to be on the field, what to do when the ball is put in play, and where to throw it, and where to stand, and who to back up, etc. The assistant coaches would be leading the different stations during practice. So you'll have hitting stations, you'll have running stations, you'll have ground ball stations, you'll have pop-up stations, and etc. As far as the background check, this is something that every youth sports organization requires. The Junior Giants requires everybody go through it every year. If something comes up where an adult, where it's not appropriate for an adult to be working with kids in a setting like this, they'll let us know, and we'll make sure that that person is not involved. And I would say that, and one of the things that we're going to stress to all the volunteers is that you really can't step in to help unless you've cleared that background check. And as a parent and as a volunteer, if anybody is apprehensive about going through a background check in order to coach a T-ball team, that's a major red flag. You just can't allow it. The chances are, of course, that everything is on the up and up, but that's not a risk that I'm willing to take as the commissioner of this league. And it's not a risk that you should be willing to take as the parent of a child participating in this league.
If weather cancels a game, will it be rescheduled?
No.
Someone asked if they can sign up 2 more kids just based on availability.
If you go to the registration, go juniorgiants.org, select SF Park, whatever openings there are, you're free to sign up until everything is closed. I think that there are, probably less than 10 spots open in the entire league at this point.
How are kids obtaining their uniform?
The volunteers will receive the uniforms to give out to their players at either the first practice or the first game.
Where is hers?
Well, I'll send hers is in like near McLaren Park. I'll send addresses out for each of the practice locations to everybody soon.
If you don't remember what team you signed your kid up for, you want to see the game times, it's all on league apps, right?
No, so your team name that you signed up for, you would have received an automatic email when you registered from league apps that tells you the name of your team. If you're not sure, you can send me an email and I can send you the name of your team. And then you would just search for that team on the schedule, and it'll show you what time and what field your team is at each Saturday.
Will water and snacks be provided to the kids?
Yeah.
If you want to sign up to be a volunteer, but you haven't decided yet, should you come to the meeting on the 6th?
That's a good question. We're only sending the link out to the people who have actually started the process. So It's one of those things. If you'd like to help us and you're willing to and you're able to help us, please step up. If you're on the fence, or if you don't have the time, or you just can't do it, we totally understand. It's not for everybody, but we certainly hope that you'll join us. And even if it's like I said, even if it's just an extra set of eyes, keeping the kids safe, where that's your role, just an extra person on the field, making sure that the kids are safe.
Where do they register for the background check?
So when you register as a volunteer, go juniorgiants.org, click SF Rec and Park, scroll down, select volunteer coach registration. As soon as you register, the Junior Giants will send you an email with all the instructions for the next step and how to do the background check. It's all online, and a vast majority of the volunteers have already completed it, and we're going to follow up next week to those who haven't completed it.
If they're aware of a date now that they know they're going to miss a practice or a game, who do they tell?
Their fellow volunteers, or if it's a volunteer, their fellow volunteers. If it's a parent of a player, just let the volunteers know when you see them.
And then our final question is, someone signed up as a coach, but they can't make the clinic. Will there be like an informational email or Zoom that they could watch after?
I don't know that we're going to film it, but yes, anybody who doesn't come to the clinic, we'll follow up with them and make sure that they have all the information that they need, for sure. That's it.
Oh, do you have a wait list? If kids don't come and don't RSVP the first 3 weeks, do you fill those spots?
We do not have a wait list. People are free to keep looking at the registration site, and I guess the short answer is no, we don't have a wait list, and it kind of depends on the situation. If there is, let's say we have a team that has 18 kids and we have 3 kids that continuously don't come, we drop them from the league. If nobody takes those spots, that team will have 15. And frankly, if you have 15 committed kids, that's plenty for a baseball team. And 15 is actually what the Junior Giants recommends. That's what most of the other leagues do. We would, after the first 3 or 4 weeks, we wouldn't fill those extra spots unless somebody, tries to register.
Someone asked if we know if the T-ball is able to attend the event on August 8th at Oracle Park.
I'll find out about that.
In our Zoom on Wednesday, they said it was just the 7 to 9 and 10 to 13.
Yeah, so the nuts and bolts of this presentation were provided to me by the Junior Giants. And I apologize. I probably should have left that out for this group. But at the same time, something for you guys to look forward to. If your child is 6, hopefully that they'll play next year and be a part of that for next year.
Do the children need a physical?
No. I will tell you, though, that if your child needs any extra help for whatever reason, to let me know.
I think that's all our questions.
Great. Well, we're right on time. We said 10 to 11. Thank you all so much. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your Saturday. I hope we have a fantastic summer together. Again, super proud to be in a position to lead this year. Thanks again to Gerald for all your support, to my ambassadors, to Rachelle. A special thanks to all the volunteers who have already signed up and committed. Special thanks to those of you who were convinced over the past 60 minutes to step up and help, especially those two teams that don't have anybody. And let the questions come in. I'll do my best to answer them as quickly as I can. And I look forward to seeing you all soon here in the next couple of weeks.
Cool. Thank you so much for that, Nate. Again, on behalf of the San Francisco Recreation and Parks Department, thank you all for joining the Junior Giants, especially to you volunteers for stepping up and helping with these kids. We couldn't have done it without you. Again, we have Jimmy Chin here. He's our manager of our department. We want to thank him for coming out, and we're looking forward to a great season and the kids having fun. So again, see you out on the baseball field. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jimmy. I didn't know you were here too.